Because when it's all said and done, we can help one another, we can pray for one another, we can encourage one another, but we don't hold the key to your destiny in our hands. There is only one who knows what he's doing in your life. There's only one who has begun the good work in you, and he alone is going to take you from where you are to where he has destined you to be.
Welcome to Enduring Truth, the teaching ministry of Pastor Paul Sheppard. Are you focused on your destiny as a child of the living God? Today on Enduring Truth, we'll discover that as followers of Jesus, we are living in God's plan, and as long as we're focused on Him, no one can take us off course. We're about to be blessed by the conclusion to When Destiny Seems Delayed. It's another wonderful teaching based on the life of David, taken from the Old Testament book of 1 Samuel chapter 18. And now let's rejoin Pastor Paul.
One of the favorite tricks of the enemy when you're going through tough times is to get you to just pull off somewhere to the side of the road of your life and let the world pass you by and sit there and think sad thoughts and feel sad feelings and cry sad tears and go through your changes all by yourself. The enemy loves to say, you don't feel like going to church. They all gonna be singing and jumping and dancing and singing loud and all happy. You don't need to be around those folk. You know, when you want to have a pity party, you don't want to be confused by happy folk. When you want to have a pity party, you can only invite certain folk. You send doubt to go pick up all the folk for the pity party. You send doubt to loneliness house. And you give them little instructions, and doubt pulls up the loneliness house, and instructions say, now you got to knock on the door, and don't be discouraged if they don't answer right away. The light's going to be off because they're in there all by themselves. But go get loneliness, put them in the van, bring them to the party. Then drive over to anger and bitterness house, the twins. Now they're going to be fussing. Who that knocking on that door? Don't make no sense, all this coming around here. The note said, don't pay him any attention, just put him in the van, bring him to the party. Stop by Fear's house. The note said, now you can't just knock on the door at Fear's house. You got to go to the window and show him, it's me, doubt, come on. Put him in the van, bring him to the party. You have all the wrong emotions when you're sitting home having a pity party. You need to get where somebody can tell you God is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that you can ask or imagine. You need to let somebody speak the word of truth into your life. Got to stay connected. The Bible says, do not forsake the assembling of yourself together with other believers. When you're going through tough times, that's not the time to stay away from folk. That's the time to get up in the mix. Say, look, I'm going through. I need y'all to pray for me. I need somebody to encourage me. I need somebody to help me. I'm going through a tough time, but I am not going through it by myself. I don't care if you got to drive up to the church and blow your horn because you don't have enough strength to get out of the car. Just drive and blow till you get somebody's attention. Say, I'm trying to get in there. Can y'all please help me? Because the enemy will ride you during times like that till you don't feel like these people. Then he start telling you lies. They don't love you. Nobody cares about you. They're all doing their own thing. They're not worried about you. The devil is a lie. Sure, you'll find some folk who are insensitive. You'll find some folk who have their own preoccupations. That's just called being on the planet. And welcome to earth. That's all that is. You're going to run into some folk who are insensitive. Did you see that motley crew that showed up at David's place? The Bible says some of them were in distress. Some of them were in debt. Some of them were discontented. That doesn't seem like a bunch you want to hang out with. But the Bible says they let David lead them. They all fellowship with one another. And while David was ministering to them, they were ministering encouragement and support and right there with him to let him know you're not by yourself. I know the king is after you, but we are going to arm ourselves. We are going to help you. When you need something and can't go out and get it, we'll run out and get it for you. Listen, let me tell you, stop looking for perfect people before you reach out for help. You're not going to find perfect people. But find folk who love God and love you and will help you while you go through what you go through if you'll help them go through their go through. That's the way it works in the family of God. I get tired of these folk checking out the church to see if we are worthy enough for their membership. Not you. I didn't call your name. Why are you looking at me in that tone of voice? Checking us out. I'm just watching. Looking for a reason to stay isolated. Looking for imperfection so they can say, I knew it. Listen, don't go looking for the perfect church for two reasons. Number one, because there is no perfect church. Secondly, because if you find it and you join, what you want to do is find folk who love God, who say we might not be everything we're going to be. We're somewhere between promise and fulfillment, but we are on the right road. We're believing God. We're cleaning up our lives. We're saying yes to his will, and we are on our way. That's what you do. You look for folk who are heading in the right direction. You're spending your time looking for folk who have already arrived. You can't relate to them because you haven't arrived. But you want to get on the journey with folk who are heading in the right direction, who are believing God for great things. I'm here to call somebody out of your isolation. Now, before I get off of this point, let me tell you one more thing about this point, which is I'm not just saying that you need to be in church. Now, that is very critical. And if you are able-bodied and can in any way, you need to get into a healthy, well-balanced, Christ-centered, God-glorifying church. You need to do it. You need to be committed and connected. Don't show up as a consumer to see what they have to offer you. Come as a committed, connected person to be part of what God is doing there. But let me tell you something. It's not just about church, because truth be told, you can go to church and be isolated. You can sit among all these folk and be in a world all by yourself. In fact, I submit to you that the loneliest place in the world is when you are disconnected in a crowd. See, when you're by yourself, at least you know you're by yourself. You're the only one in the room. So you get it. You look around. It's reinforced. I am alone. But have you felt that keen aloneness of being all around people? They're smiling over here. They're chatting over there. These folk making lunch appointments. These folk in the same growth group. Over here, they work in ministry together. They all just hanging out. What'd you do this week? Girl, I told you. Did you see what I told you? Yeah. And you're just standing there thinking, I wish somebody cared enough to ask me how I'm doing. And the fact is, there are people who care, but they don't know where you are until you tell them. You gotta be brave enough when somebody asks you, how you doing? You gotta be brave enough to not lie and say, oh, I'm fine. When you know you just got finished drying your tears and you don't know what next step to take. You got to have the courage to say, would you pray with me? Would you just take a few minutes and hear my heart so that you will know how to pray for what I'm going through? And listen, if you run into somebody who is obviously in a hurry or obviously preoccupied, then don't say, see that? That's it. They don't represent everybody. The Bible says knock until the door is open, not only in prayer, but in reaching out to people. If this one seems a little preoccupied, perhaps my blessing, my encouragement will come from this one over here. He had 400 to choose from who came to him. So if there's a bunch of them who can't relate to you, God will always make sure there's somebody who says, been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. I know what you're going through. I know what it feels like to go through that kind of pain. And they can walk with you through your valley. We can